I'm Chris.
And I'm Jessica.
And we're here to talk to you about counterarguments.
Counterargument is usually your last body paragraph in which you acknowledge the other side of the issue.
Okay, but how do you write counterarguments?
I'm so glad you asked, Chris. Just like introductions and body paragraphs, counterarguments have three basic parts.
1. Topic sentence.
1 to 2 sentences, usually.
2. Evidence and analysis.
3+ sentences, usually.
And 3. Refutation.
1 to 2 sentences,
Usually. I just want to remind you that in the sample essay we're working with, the thesis statement is, online dating is the best way to find love in the 21st century. You'll see why that matters in a second. The topic sentence of your counterargument will let the reader know that not everyone agrees with the author's thesis. Here, the author acknowledges that some people think online dating is a horrible idea.
Some argue that online dating is a horrible idea, but the research actually shows the opposite.
The evidence that comes next might support the perspective of the other side that you're arguing against, or it might support your own side. Either way, by the end of this part of the paragraph, it should be clear that the other side's argument is not as strong as the author's or yours.
In his article, Ferdman interviewed Michael Rosenfeld, a sociologist at Stanford who has been studying online dating for many years. Rosenfeld states, "There are a lot of theories out there about how online dating is bad for us, and mostly they're pretty unfounded," quoted in Ferdman. In fact, Rosenfeld's research has found that people who meet online actually progress to marriage faster than people who meet offline. Therefore, the argument that people use online dating apps just to hook up without a commitment is simply not true. Even more impressive is the fact that marriages that come out of online dating are stronger and more diverse. In the Forbes article, "There's now evidence that online dating causes stronger, more diverse marriages," Janet Burns writes, "Based on a 2013 data from the National Academy of Sciences, researchers discovered that marriages created online were less likely to break up within the first year, while such partners reported a higher degree of satisfaction, too."
That's great news, Jessica. Finally, the refutation will directly contradict or refute the counterargument and reassert the thesis of the essay overall. Remind the reader that you were right all along.
These studies really reinforce the idea that meeting someone online results in deeper, long-lasting connections.
Here are some more examples.
1.
There are many who believe that online dating isn't safe.
2.
Despite the evidence above, some people are hesitant to try online dating because it's so new.
3.
However, others argue that the convenience of online dating has a downside.
These are 3 other good ways to write a topic sentence for your counterargument paragraph. Each one lets the reader know that the perspective is shifting to other people or individuals and their opinion.
And here are some examples of what not to do as your first sentence in a counterargument. Online dating is a bad idea. Regardless of the truth, some morons don't think online dating is the best.
As Chris said, these are 2 examples of what not to do when writing a topic sentence for a counterargument. The first simply contradicts the essay's true thesis statement, which would confuse the reader, and the second one is too aggressive.
That's right, moron.
Hey, that's too aggressive.
And here are some examples of evidence and analysis that could be effective. In an op-ed titled, "Dating Doesn't Need an Update," Geraldine Jefferson writes, "Going out to socialize is a much better way to get acquainted with a person's real personality than just reading their online profile."
Here's another good example of a piece of evidence for counterargument. It initially supports the other perspective's opinion.
And this is where things get fun. In the analysis, I'm going to reject that opinion. However, she doesn't use any data to back up her opinion. Whereas Janet Burns references a 2013 National Academy of Sciences study that reports a higher degree of satisfaction from couples who met online than others who did not.
The analysis then demonstrates that the other side's perspective is flawed or somehow invalid. Sometimes more evidence will be included here, and sometimes an explanation is enough.
And once again, here's an example of what not to do when you're adding evidence and analysis to a counterargument. Sometimes people get catfished, like on the TV show Catfish, but most of the time they don't.
This evidence and analysis is weak because the evidence and analysis are both too vague. Be as specific as you can and provide evidence and offer facts, expert opinions, or concrete examples.
Here are some examples of refutations.
1.
Therefore, online dating is safer than most people think.
2.
Even though online dating is associated with hookup culture, the data show that it leads to long-term relationships for most users.
3.
A small number of people might disagree, but online dating is the best choice for the vast majority.
These are 3 other good examples of refutations at the end of a counterargument. Each one explains why the evidence and analysis from the counterargument is weak, flawed, or somehow not valid, and reasserts the original thesis.
And here's some examples of what to avoid. So is online dating really a good idea? Whether online dating is a good idea or not depends upon who you are.
These are 2 ways not to refute a counterargument. The first one is a direct question to the reader, when the reader needs answers from us, not more questions. And the second one is 2 in the middle. Don't let your counterargument make you doubt your own thesis.
And here's an example of all that stuff we told you was not a great idea for a counterargument. Regardless of the truth, some morons don't think online dating is the best. Sometimes people get catfished, like on the TV show Catfish, but most of the time they don't. So is online dating really a good idea?
You can hear how wishy-washy and unsure that this bad alternate paragraph sounds.
And here's all of our better alternatives pushed together into one paragraph. However, others argue that the convenience of online dating has a downside. In an op-ed titled "Dating Doesn't Need an Update," Geraldine Jefferson writes, "Going out to socialize is a much better way to get acquainted with a person's real personality than just reading their online profile." However, she doesn't use any data to back up her opinion, whereas Janet Burns references a 2013 National Academy of Sciences study that reports a higher degree of satisfaction from couples who met online than others who did not. A small number of people might disagree, but online dating is the best choice for the vast majority.
That's the basic structure of counterarguments.
Next time, we'll look at
Conclusions.
conclusions. Bye.
Bye-bye.